So, hello guys, I'm Aman Verma from Flutter team DSC Kit. I also am currently interning with Machao Incorporation based in Fremont, California. I'm currently working on their product Messenger X. Uh, so, today I'll be covering authentication in Flutter using basic REST APIs. Uh, so, before I go into that, I'll be covering some basic information about Flutter. So, Flutter was made about four things in mind: uh, building beautiful apps, app speed and responsiveness, developer productivity, and building an open developer community. So all these four things, when combined together, make Flutter an awesome thing. So moving forward, uh, firstly, Flutter enables you to build beautiful apps. Just a moment. Yeah. Firstly, Flutter enables you to uh, build beautiful apps. Not only that, Flutter provides a rich palette of tools that gives you control over every pixel of the screen. Designers now never have to compromise again on their vision. Flutter includes a full set of widgets that deliver a perfect experience across all the devices. What I mean here is, whether it is an iOS device or Android device, the experience that you can give on both the devices is almost similar. Uh, Not almost, is what I should say is exactly similar. And it also enables the ultimate realization of the material design. Like, Flutter basically focuses on the material design. That is, in the iPhone app you can also experience the material widgets. What I'm talking about, the material UI or the guidelines which are laid by the Android. On, you can see the specs on material.io. I'll post the link later. So moving forward, talking about how fast the Flutter is. Flutter is powered by a blazing fast Skia 2D graphics engine. It is a glitch-free, Zang-free uh, engine which supports graphics at the native speed of your display. It can support a refresh speed of 60 hertz per second. Also, it does not need a virtual machine or JavaScript interpreter, unlike React Native. So uh, basically, it uses Skia at its core. Thirdly, Flutter is productive. Flutter introduces a revolutionary new capability for developers and designers to iterate on their apps in a real time. We call this feature a stateful hot reload, and it enables you to change the code of your app and see the changes in real time. What I mean here is that in Android, whenever you change your a single line, so whenever you have to see that change, every time you have to restart that activity or rebuild that activity, and it would take at least what I should say is 15 or 16 seconds. But in Flutter, you could just simply hot reload and you could see that change in the real time. And also it maintains its state. Suppose you have scrolled some extent of your screen, and when you hot reload, your scroll will remain at that same exact place. And so it makes your developer, so it increases the developer productivity up to 3 times. That figure is not by me. I just found it on the internet. Finally, Flutter is open source. Flutter is what I mean is, you can find the GitHub repo. You can, suppose you find a feature that you think that there should be a feature, and the feature currently is not incorporated in the Flutter code, and you know someone who knows how to incorporate that feature. What you can do is fork the Flutter repo, and you yourself can incorporate that feature in your fork, and use your fork for building the Flutter apps. It is that simple. So we'll be discussing about the Flutter architecture. So let's take a brief look about how the tech stack actually works. Flutter moves the widgets, rendering, animation, and gestures into the app. So the developer has a total control over them. This is all part of the Flutter framework, which uses the Dart language. Also, instead of utilizing WebView or relying on the device widgets, Flutter renders every view component using your own own performance rendering engine built in C++, which is also open source. You can find it on the GitHub Flutter repo, uh, in the another repo. Skia uses a GPU when available. Any Dart code is ahead of time compiled to the native code during compilation, which provides a faster time of compilation. Sorry, faster runtime. You have control over almost everything which is in the Flutter framework. Like you can use almost every piece of code which is there in the Flutter framework. Flutter app is composed of widgets, stateless or stateful. These widgets are rendered onto a Skia canvas and are sent to a platform. The platform shows the canvas and sends the events back. What I mean here is that the widgets that you are use are are rendered. Suppose you draw something on the canvas. What you're doing is you're drawing something with this paint on a A4 size paper. Consider that as a canvas. So similarly, what Flutter engine is doing, that is drawing those widgets on a, here the A4 size paper is Skia canvas, and these widgets are the drawing which you are drawing, the drawing which you are making. So these widgets are being rendered on the Skia canvas, and then this A4 size paper as a layer is being sent to the platform. That, and this platform, let us consider, is being Android. Then the platform sends this, shows the canvas to you, like you see that layer, and sends the event back. Suppose now what happens? You tap on that drawing, and then the Android system sends that event back to the engine that at this particular coordinates that this drawing was pressed. So the underlying tech which is used to make it run, you can see in the presentation itself. You can find more info about it on Google. Some fun stats about Flutter is LinkedIn data says that Flutter is number one fastest growing skill among software engineers. Flutter is also one of the top 15 GitHub repos. It is used by brands around the world for apps with hundreds of millions of users. If you don't know, Stadia, the app for gaming platform of Google, also uses Flutter. Google Ads app uses Flutter. Alibaba app uses Flutter. Google Pay, which is in beta currently, uses Flutter. And Reflectly, I think. Yeah, Reflectly and Nubank also use Flutter. So there are many apps, many famous apps which are currently using Flutter. So I should safely say that Flutter is now safe enough to use. So what are we going to currently use is Hive. What we are going to use Hive for? We are going to use Hive for offline persistence. Like we'll get data from network, and we'll store that data that we get from network into our offline storage, and we'll use Hive for that. So why are we using Hive? There are three major reasons for that. First of all, before I move forward, as you know, that whenever we do authentication in REST APIs, the authentication is done with the help of JSON Web Token. Can you guys just say a yes or no that are you guys familiar with this thing? JSON Web Token. With no response, I am assuming that you guys are familiar with yes. So it is a very secure string that is very unique to the user. So you always need to store it in encrypted manner. So Hive supports AES, American Encryption Standard, to advanced encryption is standard encryption out of the box. All you have to do is just pass the encryption keys. Secondly, Hive is extremely lightweight. When it comes to size, it does not occupies MBs of space. Instead, it just occupies KBs of space. Thirdly, Hive is very performant. Like reading and writing of data does not takes very much time. It is very quick. Moving on, we'll see provider. I'm not going to cover it due to lack of time today. Uh, but still, we can talk about what is provider and why why we should use it. More we can find about why Flutter recommends using provider on it. I'll share the link. For three major reasons: is provider is DevTools friendly. DevTools is a platform. What should I say? Uh, uh, the exact term should be uh, tool which is provided by Flutter, inbuilt tool provided by Flutter, which helps you see the rendering of your widgets, the runtime of your widget, the memory occupied of the widget, basically all the behind the scenes of your widgets happening inside your browser. So provider also lets you see what is happening behind the provider widgets. And lazy loading, what it also supports lazy loading. So what happens, it does not loads all the suppose you have infinite list, so it doesn't make sense to load all the infinite list of item on a, suppose you open an app, and that on app open you are loading infinite items, so the app would crash basically. So it doesn't make sense, so it doesn't make sense to load all the infinite items at app open. So you want to lazily load them. By lazy loading, I mean, if you scroll if 1 to 10 items are being shown on the screen, only 1 to 10 items should be loaded and shown on the screen. So lazy loading, what it does, only those items are being loaded which are being shown on the screen. So provider supports that. Less boilerplate. By less boilerplate, I mean, uh, so unnecessary code is very much less. So for authentication, today's session, you would require a backend, which I have already made it for you, HTTP client, which will make it together, and an internet connection, which I'll see that you guys are attending meetings, so you already have it. We'll go to this folder. We'll create for creating a new project. We'll create Flutter create org is equals to com.tsc kit. Project name is DSC session. So here we have our file. So first of all, what we'll do is we'll create a folder for our models. By models, for models, we'll create two model. One would be token model. That would be storing token, a JSON web token. Other would be user model. That would be storing our user data. Uh, so before we make that, we need to import Hive. So I'll quickly add Hive as dependencies. Okay. So now we can do flutter pub get. We can also add Flutter secure storage in the same go actually. Why I'm not adding from that easy adder is because it adders the highest level available. So you see the highest level available is the preview version, and but I don't want that because it is for master channel and I'm currently using the stable channel. Oh, sorry, I should have copied the whole. Okay, I don't think I need anything more. If I'll need, I'll add it later on. So I think I've created user model before the session. Uh, we'll just quickly import from there. So I'll quickly explain what it does is I'm adding Hive type annotation here. It tells the what should I say Hive generator that this class is of Hive type. I'll tell what is Hive generator in just a moment. Then I'm telling this Hive generator here that it is a Hive field. Then I'm giving it a ID. Also here it is a type ID of this class. Similarly, here it is a email, image URL, UID. Then there is a constructor for this. Similarly, for token model, I'll just quickly grab it from here. Okay. So now what Hive generator is do is I'll show is Flutter packages. Well, uh, sorry, I'm missing a run. So basically, you can see that this Hive generator has created these type adapters for me. These type adapters, what they do is they convert our data to and from binary form. These binary form interact with the platform, so we do not need to worry about it. This all you need to add these annotations. I'll drop the link if you need to read more about this. So we are done with the models. So now I'll create services folder. First of all, I'll create base service folder, and then I'll create auth service folder. So let me grab the code from base service. Okay. Okay, I need to also, oh, I need to manually get that HTTP package as well. So I'm explaining what I'm doing here. I'm creating a class named base service here. Then I'm declaring a variable base URI here for which is holding the base URL of my backend. My backend is currently hosted at Heroku with this URL. So all the URLs with until this point remains same. So I give this until this point. I name it as base URI. So after that, I all my content is of type application JSON. So I create a default header that is content type application JSON. Now I create a function that is make request, which returns a HTTP response. It takes four parameter that is method, body, whether we have to merge default header or not, and extra header which you want to send. Extra headers can sometimes be usually suppose when you want to make authenticated requests, so it should be JSON web tokens, but currently we are not covering today in that session. If you want the glimpse, I could show it. It might show it to you in my other code base as well. I have that if I remember handy with me. So now I'm what I'm doing is switching the methods. First of all, if merge default header is true, I'm merging these. This is a shorthand for merging these two things, two maps. Merge. This is shorthand for merging two maps, that is headers and extra headers. Otherwise, only sent header should be extra headers. Like what I'm doing is sent headers, otherwise extra headers. And if extra header is null, so I'm defining it as this is a null check operator. If it is if it is null, then I'm defining it as a blank dictionary, a blank map. Sorry, both the same, I guess. Now I'm switching the method. In case of post, I'm doing post. In case of get, and I'm doing get request. In case of put, I'm doing put. In case of delete, I'm doing delete. So let's understand one. Let's understand post. So body, in case it is null, I'm again defining it as a blank and blank map. So what I'm doing is I'm importing HTTP as HTTP dot as HTTP. So I need to add this HTTP dot post. Otherwise, you can directly call that post method. Now it takes these parameters, that is URL, headers, body, and encoding. So what I'm passing is first parameter is URL, then headers, that is sent headers, which I created here, then body, which I, if checked, it is null, then this, otherwise the body which I got from here. So this is the, this is what I got, the code which I copied. And if there is some error, I'm catching it and printing the error. Now let's grab the auth service from which I wrote earlier today. Is there anyone in the session? So let me show you the some before I can show you make you understand the authentication part. Let me also show you what my backend I have made so that you can get idea what endpoints should I actually make. So basically I have only three routes by I mean only three endpoints are available. First of all, I'm checking whether a user is existing or not. So what I'll do is I'll first of all, if you try to uh, frame a UI in mind, I'll show user a screen. I'll ask him to enter an email. Then I'll check at this endpoint whether that email exists as a user in our database or not. If that does not exist, then I'll show him the sign up screen and then send that data to this API. If that email exists, then I'll show him the sign in screen and then send that data to this screen. That's it is that simple. So we have three endpoints on our backend. So we have also this route three endpoints. So first of all, I've written a function for check exist. So what it does is, one second, I closed it. You can see that here I'm merging this base URI with this base URI till here it is. I need to add this here also. This base URI with auth user exist, and then I'm passing this login ID that would be my email address. So what my backend would be returning would be let me show. So basically, it would be if the user would be found, it would be if the user would be found, it would be returning a message with the true status code 200 and a message would be true. Otherwise, it would be returning a message false. So I'm basically using that. One second. Yep. So now we have authenticate part. I need to work a little bit on this. I'll work after I create the basic screens. Sign up, I need to also work. I'll just explain what I'm doing here. So basically, I'll create a payload. I'll show you in the sign up screen how I'm creating the payload. Basically, I'll create a JSON object in the sign up screen, and then that JSON object I'll send it in the here body. Then same exactly method I'm sending put. Nothing extraordinary here. This base service base URI I'm merging, then adding this route here, method, body, and then waiting for response status code. This thing I'll explain after I create basic URLs, basic screens. So exact same thing in okay. So here how I'm creating payload. So basically I'm creating a map of login ID and password. So login ID value has email that I get from here, and password has value the password that I get from here, and then I encode it in from JSON format. And then for debugging purpose, I print it whether it is being encoded in JSON format or not. Then I send a response. Then I make a request, and then I try to store that response in this, and then I decode it. Now I have to write some more code here. Now let's get back and make some screens. Before we make some screen, I need a constant dot file. Why so? Because I need to open box. Before opening box, I need to also define namespace for boxes. Uh, let's actually get that file from here. Where what is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so let's understand this part of the code. So I'm defining the primary background color of my app that I'll use throughout the app, that is colors.blue. I am importing that from materials library. Then why I do use this format is, suppose you want to change a color, a name in your entire app, and you have used formats like this. Suppose you have typed key here and key here. Suppose you changed here key KII, and you did not change key here, so there will be error. Suppose you have typed key like here, user box, and now if you want to have change this value everywhere, what you only just have to do is just change the value of this user box, and everywhere where this value would be used, you will have to be changed. But since I was using only this value here in this function, so I did not use that uh, format. Since these two values are being used in multiple different files, that is why I'm using this format for everything place. Now I'm using this token box. Now I've created this function open token box. What it does is it opens the token box. Token box by mean there are two boxes created. So let us understand what are boxes in. So I'll open docs for that. Docs.hide there. Oops, here it is not a figure. I thought it had a figure. So what a box is? A box is consider you can consider a collection sort of thing. It contains data in a form of key value pairs. So before you use a box, you always need to open a box. So we have to use this token box and user box in our app. So we need to open this box. Since now there is a catch here, we are using user box without encryption. So we can simply use the function hive.openbox user box. But the same does not works with token box, since we are using encrypted box. So we need to we need to get the encryption key here first, then pass that encryption key to this box. So what will get users see Flutter secure, use Flutter secure storage. So what I'll do is I'll create an instance of Flutter secure storage, then check if Flutter secure storage contains key named this. If it does not contains key, I'll use the hive function to generate a secure key, and then write that key with the same at the same place by encoding a base in the base 64 format This function comes in dart convert, I think, yes, in dart convert. And then I'll then read that key and decode that and store it into encryption key variable. And then I'll open the box. And while opening the box, I'll pass the type as token model. Token model is here, this model which I defined. And also I'll pass the encryption cipher. And the encryption cipher is nothing but just the encryption key passed in the Hive AES cipher constructor. So hope everything is clear until now. Not anything too complicated. So as we are lacking on time, what I'll do is quickly grab UI code from some other code base. Let me get. I think 10 minutes are left. I think this project has the UI code which I require. Okay, let's see. What is happening? Okay, it's opened. So here are three screens. Okay, lot of error because we have got the code from other code base. We don't need logo as of now. Okay, we need to define primary color. See, this is the practice which I follow. Colors dot yellow. Okay, it's also not error. Auth service. Okay. Okay, now we need to Okay, we also need a waiting screen. That waiting screen, as far as I remember, was nothing but a screen with a car showing. So we can replace that with a circular progress indicator. Uh, can I, where can I get that waiting screen? Yep, yep. Spinner is nothing but a car showing, so I can replace it with a car going. I can replace it with a circular progress indicator and everything would be fine. Yep. Now I need a Flutter toast. Why it is not okay. I need to import it as well. Okay, so let's understand it before we move further. So here I've created a sign-in screen. This is nothing but a global key that is of type scaffold state, which I've created for my scaffold, which I've declared here. I mean used here, and the scaffold which I've declared is here. This height and width is for different for dynamically resizing my components of screen when the keyboard pops up and pops down, or when the screen, some screen are low, have are smaller in size and some screen are bigger in size. So according to that, I need to resize my text. For that, I get the size or get the height and width of the screen, and accordingly size my uh, this containers and all. Now what I'm doing is, first of all, I'm displaying a text hello there. After that, I'm just showing a text field in which I'm entering okay, I need to remove this. Mm, Actually, I can get rid of this entire part. Okay, and okay, you can directly use regex, I think here. Validate email. Okay, we are directly using regex here. No issues. Enter email. So what I'm doing here is I'm you and taking email of the user here. Then here is an icon button on press of which I'm checking whether this user is existing or not. If that user is existing, like the value from which I get, as I explained you earlier, if that user is existing, then I'll redirect it to a sign-in screen too, where I will ask him to enter his password. Otherwise, I will redirect him to a sign up screen. And if there occurs some error, I'll catch that error and show him a toast message. And I'll simply show him that message. Since we are not entering the mobile, we can just remove that piece of code. We need to create those two screens. I think we cannot wrap up in time. Pratim bhaiya, can we wrap up in time? I think this was of 1 hour. Let me grab the code of sign-in screen. Ooh. Okay, we need to fix up a lot of things. One second, I'm stopping my sharing of screen. Okay, this is up to 9 p.m. So no issues. So what I'll do is so let us also create a main screen. Where it is showing it? Oh, okay. We are done with main screen. So we can just remove this logo. We can upload the main screen. Okay, our sign-in screen 2 is done. Okay, now we need to do sign up screen. We are about to be done. We are taking name, email, and password only. So I'll remove phone and DOP. So I'm removing this mobile field also here. Okay, this seems quite a bit done here. Oh, we need a splash screen as well. We could get. I wrote it earlier, so morning, I guess. Yep. Control Shift N. Okay, so what we are doing here is first screen which the user would see is we should do is wait. First of all, make it async. Wait. Hive dot init. This function does just initializes a path to Hive to store its database. If we do not use this function, we'll have to manually use path provider package and then pass that function, then pass that path to Hive. I think this should serve the purpose. No, it is not. Okay, so now we'll register those type adapters which we created. And now then I'll open this box. First of all, I'll open Hive user box. Oh, sorry. Then I'll just call that function which I have wrote here. That is open token box. Wait, open token box. And in this main screen, what I'll do is use regex and replace all comments gone. And here I'll use a splash screen. The splash screen still has 3 errors. Let's see what they are. Okay. Okay, so I was explaining this splash screen. What it does is, so uh, now let's understand what the flow is. First of all, we initialize the path to this Hive, that where to store this database. Then we register these adapters, like these binary adapters for this database. Then we open this user box. Then we open this token box. Then we run our app. Then when we run our app, a material app is created, and its screen, first screen, that is splash screen, that is or rendered. So when it is rendered, the first function which is called is during init state, it is start timer. What it does is after 1 second, it calls the function navigate. Meanwhile, while the function is being executed, a circular progress indicator is being shown on the screen. So meanwhile the progress indicator is being shown, what I'm doing in the background is I am checking if the box is not open, like user box is not open. I'll open the user box. If the token box is not open, I'll just call the token box function again to open that box. Now I'll get that why I'm doing this, because why I'm calling these two functions. This function was not necessary, but still I've called here. Just in case you want to check the token also, that is token also null or not. I'm not doing check. I might do it later. So what I'm doing is I'm calling user here. Sorry, I'm creating a user here, object instance of user here. So I get a user there now, key user here. I check if user is null or user.uid is null. So it means that no user is signed in. So I navigate the user to sign in screen. If user is not null or user.uid is not null, so I navigate that user to main screen. That means the user is signed in. So until now, whatever flow we have written, let's run and see what we have done so far. So meanwhile, the app is building. What I can go and check is just go in. Like auth service needs a little bit of work. Okay, Flutter secure storage needs a SDK upgrade. No issues. Now it should run perfectly, I guess. So just copy this line from these two lines from here into our auth service to here. We'll put name and okay, it is being compiled. Hopefully, we'll not see any error. Hopefully. What I'll do is I'll just quickly open my MongoDB. Oh yeah, so rather I should. Okay, okay, nice. A sign-in screen is being shown. Wait a second. We need to fix this button. We need to get that check from sign-in screen back because that was setting a state actually. We can actually also skip this thing. Okay, this should work. Okay, this is working perfect. I need to change my primary background color for sure. Let's make it colors dot green so that okay. One second, I need to restart so that this circular progress indicator can be seen here also. So on valid email, it is checking, and now I'll have to enter password because the account already exists. I already created an account for this email in the morning. Here it is, verma1090 at gmail.com. Password, you can see it is stored in the hashed format. So let's check. I don't remember password. Password was, I think, this. Okay. So login flow is working now. Fuck. We need to add a logout button as well. Let's add a scaffold here. Body of which will be uh, this container app bar should have app bar. Action should have a flat button. Child should have text that should say logout. That should be well and good. This looks pretty impressive to me. Wait a second. So this, I think we need to add this. What should we do is make this async await auth service dot clear auth dot. Why is it not returning future? Okay, no issues. We can make it a future. Okay, that's working good. So here you can see after login in, we get this ID, this email, this Yuktar URL, this token. So we need to do this some part in auth service basically here. We are not doing the some part which we need to do here. In email we need to store response map dot email basically. Email I'll just email we can get from here, no issues. And okay, we can also, I think, of the URL. Are we having image URL? We are having. So we can also store image URL just in case we want to use. Okay. So image URL. We have stored image URL. Now we will store away drive dot box token model. Token box dot put token. I had a constructor. Oh, sorry. Okay. I think we can try one time sign in again. That we should do the sign up and we are done. Okay. Working perfectly. Awesome. Okay. Also, we need to clear that token also. So let's go with the sign up screen this time. Let's enter an email which is not sign up. Okay. So it asks my email. One second. My email should be auto filled. Why it is not auto filled? I should see. Okay, no issues. I'll type it. We can figure it out later. Aman Verma. But we should. Okay, I got it. We are not giving it initial value. So we should give it initial value. And we should set it as enabled as false. Initial value should be email. Enabled should be false, and we should be good to go. I hope so. Okay, you can see that my email, and now I'm not able to edit it. So now I'll enter name, Aman Verma. Password, I'll again enter password. Now I'm expecting an error. Okay. Because I already said that I'm expecting an error because uh, this needed a lot of work. Lot of, I mean, small work. Okay. Uh, so I need to basically authenticate. These two parameters, and I should be good to go. Oh, it needed not a restart. Let's try one new email. It should be working fine, I guess, now. Okay. So with this, we come to end of this session. So if you have any question, you can ask. Sorry for being a little bit nervous because it was my kind of first session. I was just extremely nervous. I'll share the code base, and if you have any question, if you need the voice permission, I can also give you the voice permission. Uh, Let me give you the voice permission as you are the only one in the audience. You can see that we have these three emails 1905933cv.net and this. So this ends our session. Uh, try again. Try again. It would allow you to unmute. One second. Uh, is it allowing you to unmute now?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible now.
Yes, today's session was I could understand the concepts which you just showed. It will be great. You also provide the access to these resources, like for future reference, and I can just go through them while developing my for Google solution challenge. That would be
Uh,
better.
which resources do you want actually in
Um,
specific?
like the code which you were working upon, that codes.
Yeah, the
That
code for the final application which I developed.
yes, that one.
Yeah, that code base which I will actually share.
Okay, and
And
another fact that I want to know that this session was recorded, so will this recording be uploaded on YouTube, right?
yeah, it will be
Okay,
uploaded after
okay, okay, sure.
some editing because I sluttered a lot
Okay, okay.
between. If you do you have any questions?
No questions as such. The session was overall good. Like, yes, the starting was like a bit late, but it's okay.
Okay, no issues. Actually, it was my first session, so I was kind of nervous.
Yeah, yes, it's okay.
Okay, thank you for your time.
The Discord link which you provided, that is for DSC kit, right? I am already there, I guess. But I was wanting like the file sharing. Will you do it in the DSC kit channel or in other GitHub stuffs? That I want to know that.
Uh, the resources is when the video will go public on our YouTube channel. Will
Okay.
in the video description will provide the resources.
Oh, okay. Oh,
The slides of today and the code base which I created, and the if you want the existing code, like one thing I mentioned, I think I have the code base of that available. One second, let me see. Uh, how to make just a small thing, not too much. If you are, have you made your solution for the like? Have you made your
mm,
project for solution challenge?
I have registered but not made yet. Like I have not like started.
So if you're using custom backend, so you must be using you must need for to you might be needing to make authenticated service, or you might need to make authenticated request. So what I was telling in the starting, that you need to put something like extra header like this x-axis token.
Okay.
This is not being recorded, I think. Hmm. This will not come in YouTube. This is not being recorded. Like, you pass the token, so only the user who is whose token is the whose token you are sending, only that person's data will be returned to you. So it is like on the key for the lock.
Okay. So, where will this log file get stored? In
These files are like Basically, each server has its private encryption key.
Okay.
So that encryption key, uh, so the unique ID. One second, let me show. Uh, One second, MongoDB. These unique IDs always gets uh, what should I say? Some sort of combination is always being created with the help of that encryption key in your server, and that is what is known as JSON Web Token. Anything can be created as JSON Web Token with a package. There is not only this unique ID that was a very old concept. I'm just giving example, but anything can be used for creating a JSON Web Token. Literally anything, but usually these are a random number, very impossible to guess. So these are highly secure.
Okay. And another thing, like these files, they are stored in a hashed form. Like, for example, if we are trying to decrypt it, it won't be possible without like converting it to like base 64, or will it be
No, no.
available in
For
normal form?
for decoding, you will always need an encryption key. If you see the code, which I was doing here, one second, DSC session. So what I was doing here, my data that was stored in this box was stored in encryption key. So before I could decode this, I needed the encryption key. No matter in whatever format that this is stored, I will always need the encryption key to decode that. So for getting that encryption key is stored in my secure storage. So
Okay.
suppose you want to, you are storing a data inside a which is stored with a lock, and then you have locked that room with a lock, and you are then hiding a key somewhere else. So that this key is that key of the lock. This is a lock, and this data inside this is that data.
Okay.
Hope it clears.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Okay.
So with that, I have another meeting to join, so I'll take leave.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Mm.